Hello, and welcome along to another edition of the Squad Goals podcast. I'm Josh Parrish, and alongside me, as always, is a man who thinks he could take LeVar Ball one-on-one.
I just think that if your name is a gimmicky thing like Ball and you never made it playing the NBA, then I'm sorry, but you can try to live vicariously through your sons, but you're not going to make money through overpriced shoes, is all I'm saying.
Are you saying you are indeed a bigger baller than LeVar?
I'm the biggest baller brand there is out there. I don't know what that means. I feel I shouldn't have said that, but that doesn't matter.
It will definitely get a response from LeVar.
Those shoes are $500.
$500?
And they look terrible.
US?
$500 US.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. And I love shoes, but nothing is worth $500.
Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing, actually. I think he's a marketing genius. I think we could learn a thing or two from LeVar.
Just be absolutely outrageous and be like,
yeah,
exactly. That's nothing on me.
That's what we need to do.
$500. Oh god.
So welcome along to the best podcast ever made.
the greatest podcast of all time. We're the GOAT of podcasts. But no, I read an article apparently, there's a rapper called The Game, and he bought like 3 pairs of those shoes and was like, oh, LeVar Ball, just trying to take down Nike, stuff like that. How
many feet does he have? Why does he need 3? Does he walk around like a horse on all fours?
Yeah, and then he just has 2 on his back, just in case he needs to swap. I don't know.
I just
think that if your shoes are good, they'd sell. But there's a reason why Nike and Adidas and stuff run the game, because they're good.
Forgive us for having NBA on the brain. We've just been witnessing a lot of drama with ping pong balls today. That's right. If you join me on the FNL live stream, you would have seen the controversial semi-final draw.
Just tapping into all your audiences.
Ryan can't watch it. It's too embarrassing for him.
No, look.
Melbourne University Futsal Club, get on there. It's a quality live broadcasting.
No.
It's been 2 minutes. I've already plugged something else.
I mean, good for you, man. You put on that suit, you go live.
Hey, I wasn't wearing the suit today.
No suit.
No, I was wearing my Melbourne University Futsal Club t-shirt.
# bring back the suit, I reckon.
Which was like, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it was not dry yet. I just wore it over the top of my jumper. It's completely soaked.
That's so bad. Well,
my webcam's so grainy. I don't think anyone noticed.
No one would notice. But I'm sure it went well. I just can't. It's just too much. There's something about you that's like you're grinning at the screen makes me very uncomfortable.
I don't know how we're doing this podcast sitting across.
Yeah, that's why I avoid eye contact.
If I just didn't look at Ryan, it would be quality product.
Animals don't make eye contact during sex in nature. It's true. I'm just saying. Eye contact is a human construct.
Moving swiftly along.
Yeah, go on.
Chelsea confirmed their status as league champions this week. It was always going to happen, but in scrappy fashion over West Brom away, Pulis was kicking himself. He couldn't spoil the party once again.
TP.
But it was Michy Batshuayi's big moment. I don't think I can say his name.
As long as it wasn't Diego Costa scoring goals. I can't believe he's got another medal around his neck.
The best moment of Diego Costa's evening was trying to he got champagne in his eye.
Did he?
And then he tried to wash it out with Gatorade.
Not the only thing on his eye. What an idiot. I don't hate him. I don't hate anyone. But I hate Diego Costa.
Yeah.
It's just that, and just the thought of him lifting the trophy. How undeserved.
He was pretty good the first half of the year.
Yeah, whatever.
Just not going to give him any credit.
Staying. I'll give Eden Hazard all the credit.
It's all right. He's going to China anyway.
I sure hope so.
You'll see the back of him. You won't have to look at his.
He's just
his
so.
ugly,
Every time I watch
face.
Chelsea, they've been the best team by far this season. Just every time I watch him play, you just know he's got that cheeky look in his eye, like he wants to deck someone. And you're just like, man, just play the ball, but he doesn't. I just can't stand that. It annoys me.
Yeah, I think it's a uniquely South American quality to see football as as an opportunity to cheat people out of if you con the ref and he doesn't see it, that's seen as a positive thing. It's a different culture, I guess.
Look, my dad taught me a trick. I'm sure you've heard this story, but let me share that with you. So for all of you that don't know, my dad actually played for the Singapore schoolboys, which is like their under 21s or whatever. And then when I started playing soccer, he was like, look, there's this trick that we get taught when we're training.
Sorry, I think there's a context to this, right?
Yeah.
Because when we were playing that under 17s game and Ryan nearly got into a fight with a guy from Knox.
Look, okay, so what happened was he tackled me from behind or something. And I was like, you know, I was obviously like, what the hell, you didn't get the ball. And I remember the story my dad told me. And there was so he was like, when someone tackles you, you just got to give it to him like right back so he knows that he can't do it again. And so when we went up for a header, I went him in the face. And it's not a big deal. Diego Costa does it all the time. And then I do it once and suddenly I'm a villain. Jesus. But no, the actual story I wanted to tell was another trick he told me was during the schoolboys, they taught them that on the turn, if you have a guy like marking you real tight, like on the back, as you turn, flick him in the nuts.
See, I was expecting you're giving me a lift that day.
Yeah,
and I was expecting a big lecture, like you can't get into these violent scraps on the field. You know, you got to play in sports. And he's like, no, you just flick him in the nuts. Yeah. That's what you do next time.
That made my dad proud. I would have a man in the face. Whatever, no big deal. Helped that he was white, like, you know, just a bit of
racial tension.
Yeah,
greases the wheels.
Yeah, but no. Anyway, yeah. So I just think Diego Costa's a dirty man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the smog surrounding the stadiums in China will help conceal his villainy further.
Yeah, but no, Chelsea had a good season. They were very well rounded. I mean, they started the first few games a bit slow, a bit sketchy, but once Conte found his rhythm, found his formation.
Yeah.
I mean, the additions of bringing back Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso allowed him to play that, allowed him to access that, you know, make the play a lot wider so they could, you know, hit teams on the break real quick on the wings.
Yeah, Victor Moses as a wing back was a genius adaptation. I mean, the players didn't want to play the back three at the start, and he said, "All right, we'll play."
Did you ask them, like, how did you know they didn't?
And that's the story that was coming out.
Just got a call from Marcos Alonso.
Yeah, sources say.
This is TMZ with George Harris.
My sources, other people's sources, not my sources.
Yeah.
He said that the players were not keen on the back four, and Conte said, "All right, we'll do it your way." And then after they got smashed 3-0 by Arsenal, he said, "All right, your way's not working."
Yeah, and
went to that adaptation of his Juve system, and
which worked wonders for him. I mean, and now other teams are adopting it. You know, you saw Arsene Wenger move to a back three. Tottenham have adopted a back three.
Yeah, they've all copied the same shape.
They've all copied
and Walter Mazzarri thinks that Conte copied him. No. Like the 3-4-2-1.
Well, hold down a job for like more than like a year, and then we'll see.
I don't know if you can really copy a formation. They're pretty there's only so many ways you can arrange 10 outfield players.
Look.
But I guess the attacking trident Mazzarri had at Napoli with Hamsik, Lavezzi, and Cavani, it was a similar system. But it's worked tremendously well for Chelsea. I can't remember the last time a back three was deployed in England with such success. And he's adapted Azpilicueta into like a centre back in a back three. So like. The right side of centre back, which gives them sort of better defensive, like the speed to cover in behind, and also the ability to defend in wide areas. And then David Luiz's flaws are masked by it. And then you don't need three in the middle of midfield because you've got Kante, so it frees up one player to support the striker.
Kante is a player.
He is, he's definitely a player. But I'm just calling it now. Idrissa Gueye. You look at his stats. They're very similar to...
he's also a very good player.
He's a very similar player to Kante, and Kante's stats have actually dropped off from last season just because he's had less to do. He's making less tackles because he doesn't have to make so many tackles because Chelsea have the ball more, that kind of stuff. But you look at Kante's stats last season for Leicester versus Idrissa Gueye's. I think he's a player in that mould that top teams should be going after.
Yeah, United listening.
Yep, please. But
you know what? Just like trade deal, like just give him Wayne Rooney
and Fellaini.
Just take whoever you want. Take
the Everton boys back.
Just take whoever you want. Like just leave like Pogba's leave the ones that you want to keep, but just be like it's open shop. Whatever you want for Idrissa Gueye, you can have, and just take it. I'm sick of this nonsense of like Fellaini being like the destroyer. Well, he's not.
He can't defend.
I know there's been a theme of the podcast, my Fellaini rage.
Ryan's got a bone to pick with Marouane. And it comes through. You can guarantee there'll be a Fellaini bashing section on the podcast. Even when he scored the decisive goal last week against Celta Vigo.
I don't care what he did.
Let's talk about that game. United were pretty lucky to scrape.
Very lucky. But even when Fellaini scored, I was kind of like, I still don't like you that much. But thank you for the goal.
I was just raving about Rashford's assist. I just didn't really pay attention to the gangly Afro head fuck on the end of the cross.
Jesus. Look, I haven't gone that far. I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life.
I don't know about that.
Again, Josh's sources tell him that Fellaini is actually a dick.
Yeah, look, he elbows people. He's just...
No, he is
anyone who elbows people on the field must be...
He's the Belgian Diego Costa.
But yeah, United, after dominating the first leg, they had a pretty good first half.
I thought they played well first half.
Yeah.
But they dropped off dramatically
in the second half. Celta Vigo just came at them. Yeah. They needed, some assistance from John Guidetti. to progress.
The guy that you would not want to talk to in a bar.
He looks like a Swedish neo-Nazi. And he was talking a big game before the match about, Manchester.
Wasn't he shit talking and stuff?
Yeah, after, playing for City in inverted commas.
Wasn't he on loan at Celtic for a long time?
Yeah, he barely played for the first team. And you could see why.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, maybe the biggest game of his career and I suspect the worst performance.
Oh, he had that last kick as well.
Last kick of the game after they equalised. It was an extraordinary fumble with an open goal and he just tripped himself over. It was very ungainly. I was watching, I was flicking over to the Lyon Ajax second leg because that was a crazy game. Ajax winning first leg 4-1 and then nearly throwing it all away. And Lyon had some glorious chances to level it up on aggregate.
Yeah.
I switched back and United have had a red card and Celta have equalised and are pushing for the winner.
I'm worried for United in this Europa League final. I do worry. I think the youthful exuberance at Ajax might undo them, but at the same time you have Fellaini who's willing to kill anyone and everyone in his path.
I think United. I suspect United might play the villains in this one and actually do one. On the break, because Ajax they don't have much experience. They're a young, vibrant, exciting attacking side with an average age of 21, 22. It's crazy.
Arsene Wenger will be licking his lips.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Why is that sinister? But
recover from that.
Ajax is, this is the challenge in the podcast. I try and make a serious point, and then Ryan just puts me off track and tries to.
That's true. Arsene Wenger loves them young.
Yeah, well, he loves all the players. He loves unrequited love. That's what Arsene Wenger loves. He's really into saying, "Oh, I could have had him."
Yeah. Did he say that about Ronaldo? I remember he was like, "Oh, Arsenal could have signed Ronaldo."
He said that about everybody.
Yeah, but you didn't sign Ronaldo. You signed Nacho Monreal. So deal with that. Anyway, go back to Ajax.
Yeah. So they've brought in a whole of their legendary former players as coaches, assistant coaches. So Mark Overmars is there, sporting director. Dennis Bergkamp's a coach, part of the backroom staff. What's his name? Edwin van der Sar is actually their CEO or marketing guy.
He's the marketing
guy.
Yeah,
well, he was the head of marketing and now he's their CEO.
So can he be interested in heading up marketing for the Squad Goals podcast? We could use a bit of a big name allure.
Because he has a commerce degree or something.
Was he good on him?
Yeah, he went to university after he retired. He went back and got an education. He's a smart guy.
Edwin, if you're listening,
just give us a shout out.
We can't pay you much, but we're willing to change the name of the podcast to I don't know.
Trying to think of it, Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah, that's a hard name to make a pun with.
The Edwin van der Pod.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. But they've done a great job of it, incorporating all these legendary former players into their coaching system and going back to a very pure interpretation of the Johan Cruyff.
And I think that's important. Philosophy. I think we spoke about this before, and I spoke about this, having coaching staff that understand what the club means is so important. Because at the end of it, like, yes, sport has become a business, but when it comes to actually getting players to really give their all for the club, they have to understand what the club stands for. I spoke about this at United and like why I think Ryan Giggs or someone of that mold would have been the perfect manager to replace David Moyes. Because even though like experience counts, like I think understanding the fabric of a football club is important, which is why like, you know, Ajax have had this run of success, is because having former coaches, like staff and coaches who are former players who have come through the club, who can relate that experience to the young kids. Obviously they have an average age of like 20 something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like for these kids to be able to play Europa League final has to stem from more than just talent and training. It comes from having the right guidance, people to really help you understand when you pull on that shirt what that means. And I buy into that. I think that's such a good thing. And I think clubs should do that more.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you've got this ingrained philosophy from, you know, stemming from years and years back. You know, obviously it's Johan Cruyff who really set the foundation at Ajax and also at Barcelona, you know, the total football, you know, freedom of movement, the possession of the ball being everything, players interchanging positions and being multi-talented and flexible. You know, Cruyff, when his playing days, was nominally a striker, but would pick the ball up at sweeper.
Anyway,
he would, and everyone's supposed to interchange and move into the space left behind.
And I think, like, you see that, like, why Zidane's having so much success at Madrid is because he knows what Madrid is.
Yeah, he knows how to manage the
successful Barca coaches have been former players like Luis Enrique, Pep Guardiola, Frank Rijkaard, all of them, and the guy who didn't make it was that Argentinian.
Yes, Martino.
Yeah, even then he didn't have a bad run, but at the same time, like, there's a clear difference when the manager and coaching staff don't understand what the club means, and I think it's something that the club should think about more, because, you know, there's all this talk about clubs forgetting about how, you know, where they came from, the fans and all that. I think the Ajax model, even I appreciate that, you know, Zidane is the manager of Real Madrid. I think these things matter, and it shows in the play.
Quick fun fact: Gerardo Martino. Any guesses as to where he's coaching now?
Ooh, why do I feel like I know the answer?
Because you probably do.
Is it a national team?
No, it is a club side. It's recently created club side.
Recently created club side. I don't know. Tell me.
That's right. If you guessed it at home, it was Atlanta United in the MLS.
In MLS.
In MLS. They're very particular about that. The prefix, the definite article is a big no-no, because it's Major League Soccer. So if you say the Major League Soccer, the Americans get very annoyed.
Oh god, they always love to be a bit different with their letters and words and whatever. So in the MLS,
one of my favorite podcasts based in America call it an MLS, just as a, you know,
as a way to just stir the pot a bit.
Yes.
Well, Gerardo Martino doing well, getting a paycheck. That's what matters.
Keep getting them checks, Martino. Couldn't cut it at Barca, but, you know,
look, he didn't have a bad time at Barca. That goes without saying. Like, but then again, if you're a manager that comes in and you have Messi and stuff at your disposal, you have a pretty you have high expectations that if you're taking over at like Derby County, but yeah, I think DNA is so important. What's ingrained in the club is so important, and I like to see that a bit more. I think managers like Sir Alex Ferguson or Arsene Wenger, who become kind of like iconic to that DNA, I think are becoming less and less. Which then
you just end up with the same sort of rotating roster.
If you get fired from a big club, then you have the names that circulate.
Someone like Carlo Ancelotti has been very successful, but, you know, he's never going to have a long stay at a club. He's sort of 2-3 year periods. He'll win stuff. He's one of the most successful coaches going around.
For sure. But I think you want sustained success. It's not about how much money you spend or you know, like how big your club is on the international stage. I think it so much depends on, you know, how much you pay homage to the people that have come before, the DNA of the club. And I don't know. Maybe I'm nostalgic like that. Maybe because I miss Sir Alex. Maybe, you know. But I do think that's important. And we've seen success based on that. Like Barcelona is a good example of that. Real Madrid now. So it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see, and you can see it's being set up at Liverpool with Steven Gerrard taking over the under-18s.
Yeah, he'll be Liverpool.
He'll be Liverpool, and that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, the perils with that though are that if you hire a legend as coach, one, it can tarnish their legacy if they do poorly, and two, you can be really reticent to step in when you really should. I mean, you can see it go terribly wrong, like Diego Maradona in charge of Argentina, for example. Yeah. And not everyone's cut out to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I'm not saying like during the hiring process, if let's say like at Arsenal, I'm trying to think of former Arsenal, like Gilberto Silva rocks up for the interview and just like, well, why are you suited for the job? And he's like, oh, because I played here. And I'm like, well, and you
need something else.
You need more than that. But I think it's important to consider that aspect of it.
And even if they're not a former player, someone who has an appreciation of what that club is supposed to do. 'Cause I'm a big fan of clubs having an identity, even if it's not necessarily like a Cruyffian like total football philosophy. If it's like like Stoke City, or actually that's not a great example because they've tried to change their playing style, but under Mark Hughes. But say Athletic Bilbao.
The whole Basque thing.
Local players, pretty direct football, just being kind of rugged and athletic.
Or get ready for it. If you want to make a A-League analogy, well, like Kevin Muscat and Mel Victory. Like I think he might not be the most decorated player. I was gonna say human. Like he was just not a nice guy to play. But like he's
a pretty decorated human actually. Have you seen all the sponsorship on his like collars and they put every adornment. I think he next will be like a head tattoo for his bald head, just
anything that
shiny, like a Mirabella endorsement, just like his shiny forest
on there.
Shiny
but
dome.
You know what I mean? Like he gets what Melbourne Victory stands for. Just for all you A-League snobs out there.
A-League snobs.
You're hating on me last week for the Euro snobs, but you get what I mean, and I think that's important. And so I think Steven Gerrard is a good example of that. I think he'll definitely become manager one day of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Don't know how we got here, but I think DNA is important.
So what about some clubs who have no history, like Manchester City?
See, I also have a problem. You can't buy history. Like, don't go pretending just because you bring Guardiola and you bring Jesus in. Like, man, none of that shit matters. Like, show me the trophies.
Yeah, look, it's pretty funny. Like that's a lot of the stuff that Guardiola said before he went to City is he sees it as such an opportunity because it is it's a blank slate. He's got no prior expectations. He can just mold them how he likes.
Ask him who Mike Summerby is. Like he don't know that. I don't even know who that is. I just said his name.
Name dropping. You have no idea about like 50s, whatever.
I just know that he's an important person in Man City, but
I can't think of any famous Manchester City players.
Like Robinho.
I mean, oil money.
Oh, right. There was a Chinese guy, a Chinese international that played for Man City. I don't know his name. Don't want to run the risk of being racist.
This is what you come here for. I mean, they had a long campaign to bring Guardiola. They're bringing in all those people he used to work with at Barcelona, like Soriano and Chiqui Begueras. That's what his name is. It's like
his name is not Chiqui.
It's Chiqui Begueras or something.
Oh god!
You say it. It's
it's
got T's and X's in it. It's crazy.
Chiqui. That he must have got bullied when he grew up.
I think his name is something like that.
Chiqui Begueristan. That sounds like a country. Where are you from? I'm from Chiqui Begueristan.
It's one of those small central
post-Soviet.
Central Asian post-Soviet dictatorships like Chechnya or something.
No, and we saw that coming, like the Guardiola signing coming, but I don't know, they must have thrown a shitload of money at him.
Oh, for sure. You need someone to pay for all the suits that he rips on the sideline with his dramatic tight pants. Did you see that happened to him and to Zidane?
Yeah, when their pants ripped.
I think Jurgen Klopp's got the right idea. He's got active wear. He knows he's going to be jumping around.
Or just do a Jose, dress like a homeless person and just rock that.
And just don't move and just look grumpy.
Just call Kanye out, be like, I just want a wardrobe full of Yeezy's season 5 for a collection of just curtains and blinds that just cover you but aren't tight. So then when you need to celebrate, nothing rips.
Conte's got an odd mix because he wears the suits but then the baseball cap. It's really strange.
Yeah, he's trying to, he's all kind of chill at the top, which is why he can go off his nutter.
Yeah.
But the rest of him's business, I think, which is why he won the title. Good balance of crazy and
he definitely manages to run up and down the sideline without spoiling his finely tailored Italian suits, which is an example to all of us. One thing I wanted to say is, do you think he's sticking around? Because Stefano Pioli has been fired by Inter. Not because he was doing that badly, although they did have a pretty bad run when they conceded a lot of goals. But he's generally been, thought of as a pretty good appointment. I mean, it's Italy; you can lose a job over anything. But the new owners of
Chinese owners,
the ones who own Jiangsu Suning.
That's right. You said this last week.
Yeah, we were talking about it in during the whole Crystal Palace playthrough predictor pod. I think some of my background knowledge may have been cut out of may have been left on the cutting room floor there.
Yeah, sorry, I had to get things moving along.
No one cares about Trent Sainsbury and Andrea Ranocchio, but
his family cares about him. Probably.
None of our listeners.
Yeah, about 3 listeners.
But they fired him.
Tom, Ed, and Yaz.
More as I think Guy and Ed listeners.
Oh yeah, right.
Shout out to all of our regulars. They're like barflies. It's just tragic. Like, anyway, I'm trying to make a point here about
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring in a big name coach, and Conte is top of their list. But I suspect he will stick around and just use Inter as a way to negotiate a pay increase.
Yeah, bigger contract.
Yeah.
Conte, not such a nice guy after all.
It would be Pirlo said about him, when he speaks, his words assault you. So, he's a pretty fearsome character in the dressing room, but also like very passionate. Like,
which is what you want around a club.
He's a dramatic Italian dude who's gonna, does everything at 100%. It's not gonna. So, and he's a brilliant tactical mind, of course, and been a great addition to the Premier League. But hopefully, for Chelsea's sake, he sticks around. But it would be
for our sake that he leaves.
Yeah, he could be. It would be a good high to go out on, winning potentially the double, the FA Cup final coming up.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know. I think there's unfinished business. He'd want to make an impact on the European stage of Chelsea before he leaves. I think. I think he's an ambitious sort of guy, and obviously Inter don't have Champions League football. I don't think. No. I think they're mid-table. Or something.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad.
So I think he'll stick around for at least another season.
Yeah, it will be a different challenge with Champions League. Of course, we've seen sides do pretty well without it. Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers that one season when they nearly won the title. Yeah. Just let it slip away. Leicester, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been other examples recently. But once they had continental football to contend with, it's been a different story. And Chelsea, they have a pretty small squad. They only really use 14 players.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they recruit over their summer.
Yeah, they definitely need better depth in the wing-back spots. They're going to need to buy a striker if Costa leaves. I mean, Michy Batshuayi showed his credentials. It was a pretty scrappy effort, but I think Lukaku is probably top of their list, which would be terrifying.
Oh, God.
I mean, be like another Pogba, made a mistake letting somebody go and then having to buy them back for a huge fee, but he's really upped his game at Everton, and he's still not the most consistent player, but
mate, you'd rather him in your side than not.
Of course, no.
Which brings me to another thing I want to ask you. Ross Barkley, will he sign a contract or will he leave?
I would like to see him stay because he's, he could become like an Everton icon. He kind of already is. He's a local lad and everything. But I think he hasn't signed a contract yet, and might, the ceiling for them could be 7th place. Like, that there's a huge gap in the table between, 6th and 7th, and then 7th and 8th is even bigger. So breaking into that kind of...
You need big money.
Financially speaking, I mean,
they just got bought over.
Yeah, that... where's he from?
Let's not postulate.
I can't remember now.
Really be careful with what you say.
All right, never mind.
They were just bought over.
Yeah, by some rich dude from
Somewhere.
the Far East.
Yeah, let's go with that.
The Near East, actually. I think it's Central Asia somewhere.
Is he?
Yeah. Uzbekistani, I think. He's Uzbek.
Really?
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Someone check that up.
Do our research for us, please.
If Josh got that wrong, this is today's giveaway. If Josh gets that wrong, he will find an Uzbeki national team jersey and wear it in a photo to you if he gets it wrong. So you have to do your own research. If the new Everton owner is not from Uzbekistan, message us and we'll sort that out.
Spoiler alert: the Uzbek national team kid is a mankini.
Isn't that even? Well, it might be better for some of you.
It's nice.
No, but I think there is definitely a gap in the quality when it comes for Everton and the rest of the league. Financially, that hinders them. But you think that if Lukaku departs, if Ross Barkley doesn't sign on, and you were saying looks likely to move to Tottenham.
Yeah, he would be a great signing for Spurs. They've got that young English core, and they need more depth in those.
But also, like
positions.
you were saying, if Idrissa Gueye leaves,
I mean, as soon as the side does well, like a smaller side, the vultures start circling.
yeah, like Liverpool and Southampton have that sort of relationship.
Yeah, and it's so hard to hold. You look at Bayern and Borussia Dortmund. Even a club of that size just had, runners up in the Champions League and won the Bundesliga. They can't hold on to their players because just financially it's impossible, and players are always looking to make that jump up to be able to
play Champions League football.
Yeah, to win trophies and to earn, maximise their earnings over what could be a short career. It is a short career, so.
But it's I'm a fan of Everton. I'm a fan of the club.
And it's good to have somebody at least keeping the big boys honest, but. You look at their results against the top six this season, that's what they've struggled. They've been able to brush aside most of the sides beneath them, but...
I think it's tough. I think you need a massive influx of cash to be able to then make that jump. But even like we saw with Man City, which we were joking about before, but it took them a while, even with that cash, to be able to have that squad put together that ultimately challenged for the title and won titles. I think that takes time. And if already you're losing players every season... losing your core players, I think that will be the biggest struggle for them. Because if they could keep Ross Barkley, Romelu, if Idrissa Gueye stays, and they make 3 to 4 good additions, this season, and then next season the same, and they manage to keep the core group together, then I don't see why they can't challenge.
But even clubs would be trying to prize Ronald Koeman away. I think there's been talk of Barcelona for him just because of he played there.
Yes, my DNA thesis
used to put away those amazing free kicks. He had an incredible scoring record as a defender.
Yeah,
as long range bombs. But from what I've been reading and hearing, it's more likely to be Ernesto Valverde. Probably a cleaner fit there in terms of playing style. Like Koeman's an ultra pragmatist. Like he's doesn't necessarily have an overarching philosophy and will just adapt to whatever suits. And they should be able to upgrade in the goalkeeping department this season. Jordan Pickford, I think, will go there. Yeah, he's been Sunderland's bright spot this season, and he's a great young English keeper with great reflexes and just completely dominates his area, and his distribution, his long range passing and kicking is phenomenal. Just at a level of accuracy that I haven't seen in quite some time from any goalkeeper. So. He's a quality player, and they could use someone better than Robles between the sticks. Yeah,
I think Robles and Stecklenburg haven't been able to nail that first team spot for themselves. Both incredibly susceptible to making mistakes. So I think upgrading in the goalkeeper department. I agree with you. Jordan Pickford, I think, is a good pick. I think. Defensively as well, Leighton Baines, Jagielka are aging. Yeah, Seamus Coleman is still injured.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while.
He's out for a while.
The same player.
And Funes Mori, I think, reminds me a lot of like Marcos Rojo in terms of sometimes he can just make some rash decision and then you're caught out. So there's a lot of room for improvement. I think the Lukaku money, the Barkley, I guess Barkley might leave on a free if he's out of contract, so that'll be a big blow.
They've re-signed Morales, but.
Yeah.
he's still not quite at the level of...
Yeah. So I think Lukaku money will come in handy if they get a big fee, which I think they will and they should, because you know he's a quality player. I think investing that properly, not how like Tottenham do with Bale money. You know, really understanding the targets they want, that will help improve them, because I think Lukaku money will be big and it'll help them.
Yeah, I don't know how much, like, the transfer market is so ridiculously inflated, and the longer you seem to wait in the window, the higher the fees are, because, you know, you see one huge transfer, you know, if Antoine Griezmann ends up going to United for, you know, a world record fee. I mean, I don't know if... I'm a bit sceptical about that. It would be, in all honesty, a huge step down for him.
Believe.
In terms of... Well, believe.
If we make Champions League...
Yeah, well... I mean, it would be a step up in terms of pay packet, but honestly, in terms
money
of
talks.
Standard,
United, we'll pay you whatever you want.
Well, I mean, the idea with, you know, the assumption with Simeone and Griezmann has been that they will lead Atleti into their new stadium, and they're supposed to be moving there next season and play a season there. The stadium's probably not going to be ready, even though the fans started ripping the chairs up after the Real Madrid game, because there's another home game, and then there's the Copa del Rey final, I believe, to be played there, and they're probably going to have to use some other ground at the start of next season, because it's being bought up by some... I think that's by the city, and they're turning into fights or something. But yeah, the assumption has been that Simeone and Griezmann will stay for another year. But Inter's calling if they don't get Conte. You know, Simeone is another huge target of theirs, because he used to play there, and he has
the DNA thesis.
Yeah, he has a decent connection.
I'm killing it
with that club, and you know, he's one of those Argentinians who is culturally Italian. Like, there's a link between those two countries, and so many Argentinians played for Serie A teams and lived there a long time. Simeone's no different. But you know, if Griezmann's agent wants him to go to United, he will probably go.
Is Griezmann's agent Mino Raiola or whatever?
Oh, we should check that, but I think he is. Yeah. So another huge cut.
That dude has his hands in so many pockets.
He's just got his fingers in pies everywhere.
Oh, well, yeah, I think... Look, I want Griezmann at United with all my heart.
Of course. He's a world-class
talent. Take that number 7 shirt, make it your own. But yeah...
I mean, they've made, you know, Champions League final, semi-final, you know, 4 times in a row or whatever. Like, they're Atleti at the moment a giant of European football, and that's not something that can be said.
By him, like, good. I'm happy that him and Pogba are best mates. So that will be, you know, that's good. Good news for United fans to have that link. But I think if you ask me, I think United should focus on really getting some good couple of defensive signings in.
It is not Mino Raiola. It's some dude called Eric Olhartz, who I've never heard of. Okay. So probably not quite as likely as if it was...
if it was Mino.
If it was Mino or George Mendes.
Oh, hey. Him and Ronaldo. Best man at Ronaldo's wedding. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's amazing how much influence these people who've never played the game and just like
crazy.
shady dealings have, you know, over so many. You know, you look at a new manager coming in, and so often the new signings will be from the same agent.
Yeah.
You think it's as simple as just, you know, submitting a dollar figure like you do on
transfer
FIFA.
Request on FIFA.
Yeah, but it's really a lot more shady and complicated than that.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. I don't know. I think agents ruin the game a bit.
Yeah, it is a little concerning how much influence they have and how much of a cut they get out of all of these deals.
Which is the whole reason why the Pogba transfer is under investigation.
Yeah.
How much did you pocket?
£41 million. That's astonishing.
Legit though, all I need is to find one player that will let me be his agent, make a huge transfer. I don't have to fucking work for the rest of my life. £41 million is a shit ton of money.
How do you, like...
You couldn't even spend all of that.
I don't know. I think I'd find a way.
And that is why this podcast has no funding, because Josh uses it all.
Frivolous expenditure. It's like what George Best said once, you know, a lot of the money I spent on women and cars and drinks and so forth, and the rest I just squandered.
George Best, what a character. Although I do have an apology to make now that I feel is the right time to do it.
Yeah.
In last week's podcast, for those avid listeners, I shit talked Karim Benzema. Said that
the great part was that it didn't even come out until after the second leg.
So I shit talked him, and I woke up the next day, and he just dumped 3 defenders and set up a goal and had a great game. So to Karim, I'm really sorry I doubted you.
That was his own edition of the Kareem Hakeem Dream Shake. Just 3 defenders out of nowhere. I was astonishing.
Look, I stand by my comments to some extent, you know.
So it's not a real apology. It's just token, just based on one particular skillful maneuver he put on.
Just because you have one good game doesn't mean the stats don't reflect your season. And I stand by that, you know, that the numbers speak for themselves. But he had a good game against Madrid. Yaz called me out on it. He picked me up. We went to the gym. And he was like, I heard you shit talking Kareem. And I said, I did. And I apologize. But then Yaz also said he said the exact same things to his brother 2 weeks ago. So, look, even Madrid fans are a bit doubtful. So, Kareem, you proved us wrong.
Madrid fans boo Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there you go.
I don't know if their opinion can be really taken seriously
there you go.
Week to week.
Well, Yaz did actually say to me that he also didn't appreciate your shit talking about how apparently Madrid played better when one of the BBC are out.
It's true.
He thought it was blasphemy.
That was not a shot at Bale. It was in praise of Isco and the team balance. They're all great players.
You can answer to Yaz when
they're all great players.
Undoubtedly gets in touch with this podcast.
This is the problem with the Galacticos policy. Is it's not in tune with with team chemistry. It's just trying to buy all the star names and not thinking about how the pieces fit together. And competitive balance is way more important, in my opinion, than individual talent.
Well, you'll be hearing from Yaz about this.
I'm sure I will.
Oh, dear. All right. How about we wrap it up with predictions for the Europa League and Champions League?
I think United will play the villains, as I said, in the Europa League final. I think they will win 2-1 over Ajax, and they will not deserve to at all, because that's the entire run through the competition. They've been unconvincing but effective. And Ajax will be the neutrals' favourite, and they will probably score because they're so good going forward, but they leave gaps at the back as they showed against Lyon, and I think United will exploit that. What about you?
I think, look, because it'll be played on my birthday, I want United to win, because I don't want my birthday to be overshadowed by narrowly missing out in the Champions League. I think experience will count for something in this one. Like you said, the average age is like low 20s.
Yeah, their captain is 24.
Yeah.
David Klaassen. And he's like their veteran.
Yeah.
They have a 17-year-old in the back line.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I think experience will count for something. I think if the likes of Rashford and Martial have a good game, then it'll be a good watch. I think it'll be exciting when those guys are kicking.
Jose's just prioritised the league to such a ridiculous extent that if he doesn't win this game,
it'll be a bit embarrassing.
It's so funny. Like he's less the United manager and more the manager of expectations.
Yeah,
it's astonishing how he can to flip the script and focus the meeting.
But he's always been the master of that, and so he set it up now so that if he does win the Europa League, he can talk all the shit he wants.
I mean, when he took over at Chelsea for the second time, he was just saying that Europa League it's not a competition they want to be in. It's not something they should want to win. He was just shitting all over Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, and then now here he is in that exact same position.
Yeah, and he's saying things like, "Oh, he just doesn't care about the league games anymore."
Yeah. So I think it'll come down to whether United are willing to play, or if Mourinho is so focused on just getting the result that he shuts up shop and it really just hits on one counter. I think that comes down to that. In terms of the Champions League,
look, I've gone on the record before with my Juventus pick, and I think they'll win. I just think they're such a well organized, well balanced team, and they're just on a fairy tale run right now. They barely concede any goals, and they got flair going forward. So many good attacking players. I mean, there's always the chance that Higuain has another choke fest in a big game, like he has, with Messi for Argentina. If Higuain had been able to put away chances in his international finals at Copa America and in the World Cup, Messi would have assists for both winning goals. So Higuain has to come up on the big stage. I don't know. I think we're pretty quick to judge people like that they're chokers, that they don't have what it takes mentally.
Never said that. You said that.
So no. That's a narrative surrounding Higuain. I'm not saying so.
Yeah.
I think because you have such a small sample size of big games, and it could just be he missed a couple of chances. But the pressure is definitely on him. But Dybala has just dominated the competition.
He is.
And he's playing with such freedom right now.
Yeah.
And Juventus have such tactical flexibility. They can go multiple directions with their lineup. It'll be interesting to see if they play the 4-2-3-1 or go to the back three with Barzali. And Dani Alves is always looking to stick one to Madrid.
He loves a bit of Madrid shit talk, doesn't he?
He's one of those players who just he loves being booed. Like even racial abuse, he just like takes it and gives it back. It's hilarious. Like that time when someone threw a banana at him.
He ate the banana.
Yeah, he ate it and then thanked the fan for throwing it, for giving him the potassium and the energy required to get through the rest of the game. Like he's an astonishingly tough.
Great competitor.
And he has the right stuff to thrive in big games, as he has done across the two semi-final legs. But I have a feeling you're gonna back the Los Blancos.
Look, I have to go Real Madrid. I think the Ronaldo factor is there. He comes up in the big games, and you can always count on him to always be involved. I like the way Marcelo has been influencing play a lot, getting up on that left-hand side. And also, I just like the way they're playing when they're allowed to have Isco roaming around at centre. I think with his positional freedom, he's then that missing piece that's connected what was formerly a very disjointed style of play to become something so free-flowing that even when Lucas Vasquez or Asensio can come off the bench and just fit in, and it's so streamlined, I think that is something that not a particularly quick Juventus backline has to really watch out for.
I think Juventus's defensive midfield stocks will be important because Khedira has had his injury problems recently, and he probably provides more protection than Marquisio. Marquisio's better going forward and can arrive late in the box and score. But when you've got Pjanic and Marquisio there, you don't necessarily have
that defensive cover. And I think we talked about before in the last podcast, Casemiro and his role, not only defensively, but also spreading that play forward, being that springboard in which Real Madrid attack. So I don't know. I can't look past the progress that they've made in terms of becoming more of a unit, and the way Zidane has allowed key players to shine. I won't say much about Benzema. I'm sure he will do his thing on the day, but I can't look past the fact that Ronaldo is still one of the best in the game. And if he really wants to, he can single-handedly drag Madrid over the line. He has that capabilities, but also he has the capability then to really bitch out sometimes. And
I mean, he's played, I would say, poorly in 2 Champions League finals, and yet still managed to make the decisive contribution.
Yeah,
with the winning penalty in the last edition, and before that, just the spot kick that sealed the 4-1 extra time victory. And I mean,
don't forget his Champions League final with Manchester United. He scored against Chelsea, missed the penalty,
but
also
he was pretty
out of the
peripheral.
game. So I think those moments show what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, and he didn't even have to be on the field for most of the Euros final with Portugal. He just coached them to success on the sideline.
He has that aura. He has that mentality. I think for me, it's hard to look past. He will equal it up with another Ballon d'Or. Lionel Messi will be nothing.
But I think my point was going to be that I think he's been burnt out when he's got to the end of the season. You saw it with the international tournaments, the World Cup, at the Euros. he had some good moments, but ultimately got injured and was struggling physically. And in those Champions League finals, like in the last one, he shouldn't have really been on the field in extra time. He was just limping around, but he needed to be on there to take the winning spot kick. So but this season, because of the rotations, because of the incredible depth with Morata and all the guys you mentioned, Vasquez, Asensio, being able to come in and be that, that Zidane has been making 8, 9, 10, 11 changes for some of these league games, and they've still been reeling off huge wins and competing on all fronts. And Ronaldo, as a result, has also limited his game as well. So he's not making those crazy bursts down the wing anymore and doing heaps and heaps of step overs and being defenders all the time. He's more of a penalty box striker, so it's less constantly strenuous on his body. And I think physically he's in the best shape he has been going into the end of the season. Best shape he's been in a long time at this stage of the year, and I think that could potentially be decisive.
And that will get Madrid over the line and be the first team to win back-to-back Champions League. You heard it here first. I'm calling it. See.